Good morning, my people. Welcome back to Tenacious Trading Group. So now we are doing gold. So pretty much the same thing on my 1 hour chart. We've had this MSB here, and within the MSB, this is the protected low. This is currently the week high. I mean, we could still go higher. I mean, this is a validated swing high because it's kind of higher than the one to the left and the one to the right. We've closed below it first, as you guys can see there, before taking out the high. And yes, I can use that as a MSB, but you have to understand, when we have a lot of lows that could be liquidity and we haven't tapped into something yet, this being a protected low will almost be criminal, if you know what I mean, because there's just too many things right beneath us that price could sweep first. So if anything, this will end up being the two, where it's the sweep, and obviously I hope for price to sweep this, and then I start looking for something that's going to take me potentially higher. However, probably if you go down to your lower time frame, this will probably be valid. Remember, this is my 1 hour time frame. Things are going to take much more longer. I'm only trading 2-3 hours per day, so it doesn't make sense for me to wait for this to get swept because it might take all day. So I'm just going to mark this one out here and then head over to the 5-minute time frame. So on our 5-minute time frame, you guys can see how it's a much better zone. I'm just gonna, what's it called, refine it. So yeah, it's a much better zone based on your 5-minute time frame. So now the same thing really, just wait for prices at least tap in the zone or do something, show me something, show me some sort of liquidity or whatever, and then I might potentially look for something higher. Until then, I'm just gonna wait, and let's just see what the 1 minute is saying. And the 1 minute, yeah, you can see that price probably in the pullback phase within this zone, but let's just wait and see because overall price is bullish. And yeah, so have you swept? Yep, perfect. So we've swept now. So we've swept over here. Obviously, if I take up my fib from this low to this high, we haven't quite tapped the 50%. We haven't quite tapped the 618, but we might do yet. But as I said before, on my 1 minute time frame, you can see how price is in a pullback phase. And how do I know that? Because price is telling me that. If I understand that this is my protected weak high, let me just go my phone quickly. If I understand that that's my weak high, and I understand that this is my protected low, everything inside of this is just internal structure. So yet again, the minute you go down to your low time frame, it's going to be bearish because you're now trading within internal structure. And you guys can see for yourself how we are taking out lows. So internally, I know that price is bearish. So if you can, I wouldn't say if you can trade this, if you understand when price is bearish and price is bullish internally, externally, you can always look for potential shorts, because this area is an area of interest. What happened? Price tapped into it, went down. What's it called? We've now closed below this area here, so this is now an area of interest. It will be interesting to see what price does, or potentially this could be the area of interest. Remember, we follow the SMA on whatever time frame that we are on, and if we let price play out, we're going to tap into it. So look, we've tapped into it, and let's see what happens. Yeah, perfect. So you see how we've tapped into it, and we've ended up taking out our previous lower low, and even here, what happens? We have our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we didn't quite respect this SNDR. So what do we know the SNDR to be? The first area of our areas of interest. It's the first area which helped us, what's it called, is responsible for the market structure break, hence why it's called SNDR. However, sometimes this level is just not strong enough for us to bounce. So what happens? We come back to the unmitigated mover origin, and you guys can see how we've just barely tapped it. We've barely tapped it, and then look, price now distributes lower. So even in this case here, and this is why I always try to tell you guys, understand where you are within price. Don't just look for IB because price tapped to every interest. Don't just look for this because this happened. You guys can see internally. Let's just forget this. Right now, let's focus on this high, and let's focus on this low. Yeah, let's forget everything else. Internally, what was we doing? We was pulling back. Why? Because we're making higher highs and higher lows. Overall, though, if my 1 minute is my higher time frame, for example, I understand that externally we are still bearish. Internally, we are pulling back. You guys can see for yourself. This was my first area of interest. Price tapped into it, but it disrespected it. But we also know that if the SNDR doesn't get respected and we don't commit and make a new lower low, in this case here, take out our number 3, I understand that my SNDR is weak and we are more or less going to head back towards the unmitigated move origin, which is the last move which helped to facilitate this market structure break. So if this area is not able to hold, then more or less now we're going to potentially start being bullish. So you guys can see for yourself how we've tapped into it, but remember, we are still making higher highs and higher lows. Let's not be fooled. And then what happens? We've now taken out this low here. So now price is now bearish, as you guys can see for yourself. Let's say you don't want to be a part of this first move, but let's say you are quite aggressive. We are below the SMAs technically, but that's your 1 second, 1 2 3 4 5. Let me just fix that, sorry. You guys can see how you do have a SBS within this area here. You guys can see how we've tapped into this area of interest here, which is also what, an area of supply and demand. Guys, same thing over and over and over again. Look, price dumps, we take our internal weak low. You see that? Bang. You know, so now what can I do? I can draw out a new zone. When I draw out my new zone, what happened? Internally, what happened there? We had a new market structure break. This is the confirmed one now. And now this makes more sense because now you know that price is actually bearish. So again, 1 2 3 4 5. We are below the SMAs. Yes, we do tap into it, but look what's happened. We've tapped into this unmitigated move origin, guys. Can you see how things just align up when you're looking for the right things? And that could have been your trade right there. Okay, let's say you missed this, no problem. What happens now? We take out this low here. See, and that's now my new zone. And obviously we haven't quite taken out our lower low, but now this is the last area where price should tap from and create a new lower low. If not, then potentially this was the sweep of these lows here, and now potentially my price might want to start moving higher. But you also have to understand, when we head over back to our 1 minute time frame, 5 minute time frame, sorry, overall we are bullish. So like I always say, when you understand where you are within price, you are going to be okay. Like, I can't stress this enough, innit? But just this comes over practicing and practicing and practicing, just understanding where you are within your different structures. So again, I've gone past my trading time now, but let's just see what happens. We've tapped into it, and look, we've completely disrespected it. So these lows here was a sweep, you know. So these lows right here was a sweep. It was a weak high because we failed to take out these lows, and then now look, price is taking out this high here, and then now it looks like price is getting above the SMAs. When we let price play out, let's see. I mean, this is valid here, but the reason why I wouldn't pick this is because we still have a level of liquidity. So this area could be my number 2. So 1 2 3, where this could be the sweep, tap into something, and then we push higher. And let's see what's going on. And then look, we completely dumped. So yeah, so we're completely dumped. So again, you could say that price flipped, depending on how you see price. Is that valid? No, it's not valid. Wait, no, it's not valid. Can't use that one. I'm gonna use that. So depending on what your bias was, this could have been your sweep, and then now you was looking for a trade. So again, 1 2 3 4 5, where that could have been the sweep. However, you guys can see how slowly we started to get below the SMA. So you can see from structure, look, we took out this low from structure. Let's just say what have I got? I'm gonna just use this level, this S level, and then we haven't actually taken out this high from a structure point of view. You see that? So I already know that prices internally is still bearish. We need to take out a high, pull back, take a high, pull back. So just from me being able to understand where we are within structure again, I might have not been able to take out this trade. A lot of people, you know, we get our SBS, price taps an area of interest, and then bang, they're looking for a trade, but order flow hasn't switched. So what makes you think price is gonna start going higher? You know, we haven't flipped in price, but you now think it's okay to now just take a CSS or now just take an IB. You want price to flip first, then you start looking for the IBs, you start looking for the CSSs, start looking for the SCEs, start looking for the 618s. I'm trying to say, you don't look for it just because you have SBS and because price is bullish within that moment. You still need price to switch in order flow. So now you guys can see for yourself, we've actually now taken out the lower low, but if we go to a 5-minute time frame, price is still bearish internally. However, externally price is bullish. Obviously I've gone past my trading time, so let's just see what happens now. So, and now you guys can see for yourself how, did you take out that low? Yeah, so look, we ended up taking out this low here, and then we ended up taking out the high there. So now really and truly, I mean, that can be my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 below the SMA. So I need price to get above the SMAs. Remember, I'm on my 5-minute time frame. If I go to my 1, this is where I can start being acute. And let me just wrap this up before this video gets too long. But you can see how, look, we took out this low here, and then we haven't actually taken out this low yet, but we ended up taking out, I mean, we haven't yet. Yeah, actually, yeah, we have. We ended up taking out this high. So that's the first flip. I now need price to do what? Make a new higher high, maybe pull back. You know, and then I start looking for a trade, what's it called? Back higher. So you know, so where now that could be my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, potentially tap into an area of interest over here. And obviously now, hopefully, that's if you start respecting the SMA, and obviously I can start looking for trades back higher. But as I would say, victory belongs to the most tenacious. Wherever you're in the world, I'm wishing you guys a good morning, a good afternoon, a good evening, and a good night. And I'll see you lots tomorrow. Love, my people. Ciao.